Привет всем. Today is November 7th, 2016. So this is another live lesson that we're doing for Russian. And I'm joined here by Vadim. Привет, Vadim. Как дела?
Привет. Нормально.
So in the other previous sessions that we did last week and the week before, we were looking at some of the vocabulary for like friends and family members in the singular, like he, she form, and using that third person singular for the expressions to talk about where they're from, what their name is, how old they are, where they live, what they like to do. And so now we are going to look at this in the third person plural. So that would be like a they form, and change those same expressions that we've looked at and put that in to see that form. And then also add a little bit more vocabulary, which would probably make more sense in the plural, like my parents, my cousins, my grandparents, things like that. So let me get my screen here, and then we can take a look at the document. And okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so this is the vocabulary in the singular form. So now I'm going to scroll down and we'll look in the plural. So these are things: husband, wife, son, daughter, brother, sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, father, mother, friend. And you can go back and look at the previous videos to look at the pronunciation and work with that. So now we're going to take a couple of those and put that in the plural. So can you read these for us, please?
Yes. Мои сыновья, мои дочери, мои братья, мои сестры, мои друзья, мои подруги, мои родители. Oh, it's...
Sorry, I'm moving the screen here. Okay.
It's longer. Мои двоюродные братья, мои двоюродные сестры, мои бабушки и дедушки, мои бабушка и дедушка. And
okay.
Maybe we need to explain about grandparents.
Yeah, can you explain that a little bit, please? Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's a difference because we can say here about both grandparents, parents of my father and parents of my mother. So I have two grandmothers and two grandfathers. So it would be мои бабушки и дедушки.
Okay.
But you also can say about parents only of your father, for example. So you have one grandmother and one grandfather. It would be мои бабушка и дедушка.
Okay.
Мои is still plural because you say about two people, but бабушка и дедушка it's singular.
Okay. So here, what I can notice is this mai. If I look back at the previous list, I have moi, and I have that little curved symbol above this e sound. So if I look at moi drug, I have that e and that little that curved symbol there. But in the plural, I have the e. So if I look at the mai synovia, so that's just like be careful with that spelling. That's a different letter in Russian, and it has a different pronunciation.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the plural. And the plural, although you have different for masculine singular, feminine singular, and neuter singular, you only have one form for the plural adjective. So it's just mai. Okay. So let's move on here. Okay, and is it in general? Because I have a question here between, like Spanish, for example. If I took, like I have to update some of these. Sorry, but these would be. I'll have to change these for the next lesson. But if I take, let's say, Spanish, and if I said mis hermanos, which would be a mixed group, like all boys or boys and girls. If I talk about moji bratia, could that be a mixed group of brothers and sisters, or is it only understood as brothers?
No, it's only as brothers. You cannot say. You can say мои родственники, but it will mean all relatives, not only brothers.
Okay, so you don't have a masculine form that is used for the masculine and the feminine in the mixed group.
No,
So
мои
that's
братья и
only
сестры.
okay. So I'll keep that in mind for this. Okay, and what else can we say here? And okay, so if I were looking in a group of people, and I said, okay, two people just walked in the room, and I could say, okay, these are my brothers. Could you read a couple of these phrases for us?
Sure. Это мои братья, это мои сестры, это фото моих братьев, это фото моих сестер.
Okay. So if I pointed to people in a crowd, I could say, those are my brothers, those are my sisters. And if I was showing a picture of them, I say, okay, foto moich bratiev. So this form, bratiev, is the genitive form, the genitive plural.
Yes, genitive.
Okay. And also notice that the moich has this the x on there, so that's the genitive. So the adjectives and the nouns, they do change based on the case that they're using this. So if I were just identifying those people, I would have this moji bratia, that would nominative plural, and that's also for the adjective and for the noun. And if I'm talking about this is their like a photo of them, that of them is the genitive form. So this moji has to change, and the bratiev has to change. And also this adjective stays for moji, but I would have to use the genitive plural for siestor for that. Okay. Let's move on to a couple of phrases to talk about what they like to do or not. So if they like to read, travel, and asking what do they like to do. So we saw that there was a change for he, she in the singular, but in the plural, I think these stay the same. So if you can read these for us.
Окей. Они любят читать, им нравится читать. Они любят путешествовать, им нравится путешествовать. So it's the same for both feminine and... Что они любят делать? Что им нравится делать? Что они любят делать? Что им нравится делать?
Okay. Yeah, so these bottom forms, they don't change. It's we're using ani for the plural of they, ani, and to use this nravится form, this is the we're using im for this. Okay. And also for this conjugation, lubyat. So we have, in this case, we have the ya form in there. Instead of lubit, we have lubyat for that in ani. You can see that. Okay. Now talking about where they are from or where they live, let's look at a couple of these phrases. So once again, these don't change for if it's masculine plural or feminine plural. So we could just simplify this and say ani for these phrases. But yeah, can you read these for us, please?
Они из. Откуда они? Откуда они? Они живут в. Они живут в. Где они живут? Где они живут?
Okay, so there is no real change there. I think we just read it twice, but so in another language like Spanish, yeah, you could have a masculine plural form and a feminine plural form, but in Russian, you just have one form, just like in English, you have the one form they. So they don't distinguish for that masculine plural or feminine plural. Okay. And let's look at a little bit for married or singular. So, okay. So we saw that in the singular we had zhenat and zamujam. How does this change if I were talking about a group of people in the plural? Does this get complicated if you're talking about a group of people?
If you're talking about men's, your brother, for example,
Okay.
you can say они женаты. You
Okay.
cannot say они замужем because замужем is only for women.
Yes. Okay.
If you say about women, you can say они замужем, and you also can say они женаты. It's okay. If you say about many people, you can say in general они женаты. It's okay.
So if I had three friends, like two men and one woman, not necessarily that they were married to each other or something like that, but if I just wanted to say all three of those people are married, would I use женаты, or would I have to say like these two men are married and that woman is married? Would I have to separate?
You can say either way, but if you don't want to say a lot of words, you can just say они женаты. It would be okay.
Okay. Can you read those phrases for us, please?
Они женаты, они замужем, они не женаты, они холостые, они не замужем.
Okay, I see that. Okay, and talking about if they have children, let's look at a couple of these phrases. So again, these change in the singular, like unievo, unieyo, but in the plural, this is них. So if you can read these phrases.
У них двое детей, у них двое детей, у них есть дети, у них есть дети, у них нет детей, у них нет детей.
Okay, so we're using the mich form here, and we're adding the n because it's in between these two vowels, the u and the e. So Russian actually it adds this n to kind of separate for the pronunciation. But in other forms, you might just have this ich. I'm trying to think of another example that might have that without the n. But the n is a variation when there is two vowels involved, like the u and the e. And as we saw in the previous lessons, this détier, this is a genitive form, and this is used for the number two and also for the negative, the niet, if they don't have children. Okay. And as you can see here, dieti is in the nominative plural, so that's that doesn't require to be in the genitive plural there. Okay.
Yeah.
And talking about people's names, let's look here. So this again, this would be different for masculine singular, feminine singular, yevo, yeyo. But when we go to the plural, we're using ich. So this is that example where we don't have the n because we don't have the two vowels there. So if you can read these phrases.
Их зовут, как их зовут, как их зовут.
Okay. And let me get here. And for their ages. So talking about here, this im. So we don't have the letter n because we don't have the two vowels. So if you can read as well.
Им 10 лет. Им 10 лет. Им 20 лет. Сколько им лет? Сколько им лет?
Perfect. And let me just copy paste that little text that you had given us here on Facebook. So can you read this for us, please?
Окей. У меня есть 2 брата. Они живут в Санкт-Петербурге. Им нравится смотреть фильмы и ходить на рыбалку. Они женаты. Их зовут Иван и Сергей. Им 30 и 25 лет. У них по 2 детей.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, this is a short text that you can use for talking about a brief description about a couple people. Can you just mention this, like this у них па, двое детей?
It means they both, first brother have 2 children and second brother have 2 children.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
If you say у них 2 детей, it's in sum they have 2 children.
Oh, as a total between the two of them. Okay.
Yes, total. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay. So, okay. Can you read that text one more time, please?
Окей. У меня есть 2 брата. Они живут в Санкт-Петербурге. Им нравится смотреть фильмы и ходить на рыбалку. Они женаты. Их зовут Иван и Сергей. Им 30 и 25 лет. У них по 2 детей.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you very much for these expressions and going through these different conjugations and helping me translate these phrases. I appreciate that, and explaining a little bit of some of these differences. So I think I would invite people to start using these phrases and leaving a comment or a message to kind of make a description, like in the singular or the plural, talking about like a brother or sister or family members or friends, to talk about them in the singular or the plural, and to make a little kind of a short little description there. And then we can take together like a dialogue of these phrases to start working with them. So thank you once again, Vadim, and I'll see you in the next lesson for the Italian, so we can practice some of our Italian. So thanks for joining me, and see you soon.
Thanks for inviting.